see my screen. This is our website, fundraiseup.com. Okay, so before we start, I'm just going to tell you, FundraiseUp is a donation-only platform. We're not the CRM. We're not the marketing software. We're the revenue engine. We plug into your CRM. We plug into your marketing, but we supplement and complement those. All right. We have native integrations with partners of ours like Bloomerang, Kindful, Neon, Virtuous. We have integrations with Salesforce, Razor's Edge NXT, and others. So getting our data into your system won't be a problem. And I'm getting these questions out first so that you don't have to worry about it as we're talking later on. Okay. These are what I call the elephants in the room. The second elephant I want to talk about is cost and pricing. What I'm going to tell you is, so you're not wondering, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the budget for this thing. Good news, you don't need budget. Okay, we never send an invoice. We are performance aligned. It means if you win, we win. Okay, that means we don't have a contract. We don't lock you in. UNICEF USA is not on a contract with us. They can leave tomorrow, but they don't, because nothing comes close to the performance we're bringing in the fundraising efforts. Okay. And the way we earn our money is on a percentage, just like Stripe or PayPal takes a percentage from a donation. We take a small percentage on top of that. But what we do is we will ask the donor to cover the fee of our software, and they're covering both ours and your payment processing. 92% of donations have all of that covered. So if you don't have a cover fees feature in your donation form now, you're paying for all of that, right? 2 to 3%. With our platform, we're going to ask them to cover that fee and ours. And that means we're always free to your organization, and we're recovering about 70 to 80% of your transaction costs. All right. So that is what I wanted to share with you. What we're going to do here is now go through the platform a bit. All right. And by the way, actually, I'm going to save that other surprise for just a little bit later. So as I was saying, UNICEF USA, right? The first thing you'll notice with Fundraise Up is when I click on the donate button, the checkout appears right there. I don't have to go to a page that says ways to give or a donate page. It doesn't open in a new tab. That tab might be my domain. It might be some other domain of my website, right? Look at that on your website. When you click donate, where is it going? To a new tab? 10 to 20% of traffic is lost when you open a new tab. That's science. It's data that we have from doing A/B testing, right? So that means $100,000 per million is lost, right? There's a reason why other shopping websites don't open a new tab, right? Because they're profit driven. They know there's money there. So really, Fundraise Up takes its cues from the for-profit world. We look at the technologies that are available out there, and how do we translate them to the nonprofit space? What's the equivalent of the Amazon subscribe and save for a nonprofit, right? What's the equivalent of dynamic pricing on Uber in the nonprofit space? The screen you see in front of you is UNICEF when I click donate. Wherever you are in the United States, and depending on hundreds of data points, you may be presented with amounts that are different than what I have. Why is that? We're using AI, machine learning, right? Next generation technology, next level. And what we're doing is we're saying, okay, this guy's on a computer that's Windows 11, and he's located in Brooklyn, and it's a sunny day, and it's coming up on a payday, and we see giving trend data that supports that we can ask these amounts, right? If I were on maybe an older computer and I were located in Nebraska, the household income in Nebraska is lower than Brooklyn, New York. So are the rents, good. Unfortunately, so are the rents. But we'll adjust what we're asking based on data that we see that supports the best revenue outcome for your organization. And remember, we're performance aligned. We're never going to do something that's bad for you because it's bad for us. So here we go, right? I click on monthly. We're using donor psychology. We have data analysts that are testing data saying, what happens if we add a small heart on that button? Well, surprise, 8% more in monthly donors. Okay, so these are the kinds of things that we're obsessively testing. I'll go ahead and click on $100 here. We have all of the things you'd expect as far as attributes, designations, whatever you need, we have it. I might not get to all of it in this demo, right? Now I click on the button there sorry, I'm moving my Zoom bar, to continue my gift. And now it's saying, hey, here's that subscribe and save equivalent, right? Would you consider doing a $25 or $20 a month gift instead of $100? 5 to 10% of donors that intended to give one time will give monthly. They'll take this upsell, which equates to a 300% lift over the year on that first time gift. Plus, you're getting a better relationship with the donor. Okay. So this feature alone can double or triple the number of monthly donors, the rate of growth you have in your monthly donor portfolio, right? Now I'm on the pre-checkout screen. This here is giving me a fully transparent summary of what the transaction costs are, what they include, right? And again, some more of that donor psychology coming into play here. I'm going to go ahead and click on the checkbox, and we take the check mark off. We also take away the stars. We didn't have the stars in the earliest versions of Fundraise Up. And remember I said 92% of donors? Prior to the stars, we were at 86%. So adding small tweaks like that are equivalent in a consumer space, it's what donors, i.e. consumers, are used to. And these are the triggers that get them to motivate and make decisions. You'll see here these different payment options down here: credit card, PayPal, Venmo, bank transfer. These are all available, Google Pay. These are all available out of the box with Fundraise Up. You don't need to go through a lot of heavy lifting. And even further, we're going to change the payment options and reorder them based on the donation type and device. For example, if I were on an iPhone, we would not show Google Pay. Credit card would slide down to the second row, and we'd move Apple Pay to the top. And at that point, I use my Face ID, click. I didn't even type to make a donation. Can you imagine how many more donations would be coming through if they were that frictionless? We offer Venmo for one-time giving. So you'll see here that if I go back in the process and I make this a, let's say, $30 a month donation, Venmo's gone, but PayPal's there. Now that's moved up and gotten a wider bar because we see a better conversion, a better acceptance. If you offer PayPal, about 20% of donors will choose it. If you don't have PayPal, you're losing about 10% of donors, 9% to be exact. 9% of donors will not give if PayPal is not available. So when we start adding the AI and machine learning and the 10% here and the 12% there and the so on and so forth, in your mind, you can start adding up very quickly how we're able to, as we say on our website, double your revenue with the same efforts. It's a true story. We do. Small diversion in the topic. I'll come right back. at the nonprofit I was at, I tried the prototype of Fundraise Up, and we tripled our donation volume the day after I installed Fundraise Up. Okay, so I lived the results, and many others have. Every client of ours could be a case study. We only have so much time to put out as many as we can, but you'll see on our website the case studies here where it's just really game changing and really shifts the focus to a digital giving strategy, or at least puts a lot more importance on the digital giving strategy for a nonprofit when you have tech that supports it. This is our fictional website here. This is called Ropsy. And what you're seeing here is our site with some of our elements. Our elements are one line of HTML that you drop into your website to get something like that beating heart button, fully customizable to your brand. We have what we call elements. These are elements. We call these donation amount buttons. I can click on 150 and it will start my donation at 150, right? I'll close that. This is what we call a mini form, right? We'll pre-populate that again with our machine learning to an amount that we think we might put 7 in that box if it's a slightly more affluent or whatever it might be, demographic. We want to make that ask as relevant as possible to that donor, right? I'm going back to that machine learning and why that's important again. If you show me too small of an amount, I, as a maybe upper middle or upper class donor, may think this might not be the nonprofit for me. If I'm showing too high of an amount, I might think that my gift, if I can only give $10, might be insignificant if we're starting at 50. So it's important that we increase relevance and personalization to that donor. These are what we call image cards. So you can tie a beautiful image and story to what you're asking that donor to support. Okay. This is an embeddable donation form. I didn't mention this yet, but we do support over 130 currencies. So we're actually going to locate your donor wherever they're accessing from, and we're going to pre-select that currency for them. They can change it if they want to, right? But we're going to pre-select it to make that experience as frictionless as possible. We don't want the donor to have to do currency conversion when they're in the moment of generosity. Okay. Goal meters, sticky buttons, these are all one-click user interface and user experience items that you can add to your website with little to no technical experience. And even better, when you want to change these, you can do it from our dashboard without having to get a web person to do it for you. We'll look at that in a little bit. Some of you may have seen, well, this here's our impact slider. This is my personal favorite. Actually, it's my personal second favorite. I'll show you my personal favorite in a moment. Okay, so I can choose that slider, show my impact. What is my money worth? How much am I going to help with? But some of you may have seen this little thing sliding out here in the bottom right. That's our reminder badge. This recovers 3% of donors that close the checkout and don't give. It'll follow them around the website like a non-pushy salesman, car salesman, right? No offense to car salesmen. But this will follow them around the website and it will ask them to finish their gift. An abandoned cart email recovers about 1%. So this is 3 times more effective than that email you might get that says, hey, you left something in your cart. So if you get them before they leave the store, or your website in this case, you're more likely to get them to come back and finish that purchase. Before I go into P2P, which we have a P2P offering, I'm going to go ahead and show you the fastest way to make a donation. And we have our currencies, dedications, etc. I'm going to go ahead and click on credit card. I'm going to go ahead and actually, sorry about this. I need to put this in test mode so I can get the test credit card. I don't have my credit card on me. Just 1 second, folks. Okay. All right. Let me close that. Okay, I'll click here and let's go through this. $15, keep the gift, credit card, right? I'm going to go ahead and pop in these details here. Some of you might be noticing that we're collecting the credit card before we got the name and email address, right? Much higher conversion rate when you do that, because nothing kills the vibe more than filling out 30 fields on a form and then putting your credit card and it says incomplete expiration date or incorrect security code. If you get them to the bottom of the form and then you say there's an error, they're gone. If you get that, if you don't wear out the fatigue early on and you get the credit card payment and the details first, much higher success rate. So here you see I put in my name and email address. That's all in the US that we need, is the name and email address to issue a valid tax receipt. After the donation, we can offer an additional upsell. Remember that other upsell we had? So this is just saying, hey, I know you gave 16. You want to throw a $5 a month gift on top of it? About 3% of people will say yes. Again, keep adding those numbers up in your mind, right? 3%, etc. And then at the end, we ask them for their help spreading the word to share that on social media. So that was the streamlined, most simple version of the donor experience. So let's go with something a little bit more robust here that might have tributes and dedications, multiple designations. You want to allow comments to be entered. Okay, I'm going to click $100. In this case, I'll go ahead and switch to monthly. I got my payment options here. Because I'm in test mode, I'm only able to use credit card, but you could see how those other payment methods could really help by having those express payment methods available. Okay, so here we're able to get name, email address. We can ask for phone number if we want. We're going to automatically pre-select the field for them, the country for them. If you want to add explainer text about why you want the phone number, you can do that, or you cannot. And then you have your other options here, as donating as a business, anonymously, subscribing, terms, so on and so forth. You have full control over how much or how little you ask. Some of you may be using double the donation. And if you are, that's great, because we have a native plugin with them and we are friends with them. So much so that we built a very specific, unique feature that you can only find here with Fundraise Up. I'm going to show you what that is. You see, I went back and changed my amount because there's something I want to show you, and it didn't forget all of my details. So let's say here, okay, I'm giving a $10 a month donation, and I work for, let's say I work for Starbucks. Okay, Starbucks Corporation. It's going to tell me, in this case, Starbucks only matches from $25 or more. Would you consider increasing your gift so that we can receive the total donation and double it? This has a massive acceptance rate. Something like 40% will increase their gift by about 80% in value. Not just the first gift, but you're also going to get, which I'm not including in that number, the second gift from the corporate match, right? I'm just going to say no for this point. We see there that it's processing my gift at this point. That means that we've gotten all of the required information, and now we can ask for optional information. You can put as many questions as you like in that flow, right? Where did you hear about us? Are you a veteran yourself? What made you give today? But you don't want to ask that information as a required thing. Too many questions, and I gotta go. My kid is, acted up in the living room. My subway just came. I got to get on the subway, whatever it might be. So we want to keep it as lean as possible. And that includes doing things like, don't make me type the whole address. When's the last time anybody on this call, on this webinar today, had to type their entire address when they were buying something? Everything finishes it for you, right? Why are nonprofits different? That's the kind of technology we want to bring to your efforts. Like I said, you have all of those questions, and then we're done. So that's the end of the checkout process, right? You can start imagining now already how you can build very compelling landing pages with elements, make it very easy for donors to give in a new and engaging way, and so on. We also have fundraisers and P2P, right? So I click on start a fundraiser, and all I have to do is fill out these options here, and I start a fundraiser. I'll show you an example of what that might look like. This is Feeding Westchester here in New York, right? So you see feedingwestchester.org, start a fundraiser or donate now. Donate now is taking us right to that donation form, while start a fundraiser is going to allow me to start a fundraiser on the fly. And I won't have time to get into the back end and the management and the donor portal that everyone has, but you can see that they're using our goal meter element. This is our top fundraisers element, showing us who's raising the most. And this is what a P2P fundraiser looks like, different than what you expect, right? Everyone's typically used to seeing that one page with comments and chit chat and all that. Ours is very lean. It mimics what donors are looking for: get in, get out, see my impact, and be able to do that. And you see that here, when I change these different amounts, I'm able to see my impact in there. And I can even search. So if I know that, my friend Quinn had started a fundraiser, I can search that and find Quinn if I don't have his link. And Quinn, good for Quinn. He's already raised, he or she, already $3,100. Phenomenal work, Quinn. So there you go. And we can see here the about the fundraiser and about the cause. So this is the person. This is for a bar mitzvah. And that's phenomenal. So that's one example of that that I wanted to show you. You all on this call are among the first to hear our announcement about this crypto giving. Okay, this released today, this morning. We've all been on pins and needles here internally waiting for it to drop. Our product team told us this morning it is now available, and it's there for everyone to use. So you'll see here all of the different currencies, and that's available. There's no additional contract, no setup, no lock-in, and it's all there for you. You see the social proof widget we have here as well as popping up, showing that, which is great. So crypto giving is included, P2P is included. Again, no contract, no upfront, no setup costs. We are only performance aligned with our platform fee. This is the American Heart Association. When I said that was my second favorite element, this is my first favorite element. This is our donor map. One line of HTML, and your web person can add a map that's animated and showing real impact globally. This can be in your state, in your town, in your region, in your country, whatever you feel is right. And I can click on that there, and I can see that Shawanda gave $42 in Columbus, Ohio. So this is something really to help demonstrate your impact and your reach. So that's what we call our donor map. To the moderator, I have a question. How much time do we have left, and should I go into showing some of our dashboard?
Go ahead, feel free to show. We can stay up to an hour, including Q&A, so feel free to continue.
All right, thank you. So I'm sorry there, I'm just gonna grab a little sip of coffee, keep my stamina going. This is the dashboard. This is your Revenue Central. This is our test account here from the website I was showing you. Obviously, it's a test account, so the numbers may be off, but you get the idea. Our global average is 92% on covered fees. Our test account, we show that a little differently. And let me actually see here. I'll go ahead all the time. Okay, you can see. These are donations. I can filter this by number of gifts, number of recurring, by dollars. I can see payment method usage. Since this is a test site and we do almost everything through a credit card in test mode, but typically you can expect credit cards to be around 70% of your revenue, PayPal around 20%, Apple Pay around 10%, and then everything else is kind of distributed across the others depending on your demographics. So this is the dashboard. You get a full dashboard here of all the donations, very icon-driven, easy, tributes, postal mail. There's a corporate match here. I can click into any of these. I can see all of the data, right? And like I said, we're going to have here some features for power users, but we're also going to have a very simple system for you if you're not as sophisticated. So for the power users, actually for everybody, you can see here, we're going to clean the email address and make sure it's correct. We're going to format the mailing address and make sure it's beautiful and deliverable. So you don't have to fix all that in your database anymore. We're going to tell you which page did the donation happen on. Remember, you're not bound by the donation page anymore. You can now publish a blog and get donations on the blog because it might be a more compelling story. Your blog article might be compelling enough to be your donation landing page. Just drop an element in there, right? And then we're getting some insights here. My IP address, where was the location, even if the donor doesn't provide a mailing address, because if you make the mailing address optional, this is something important I want to mention. If you make the mailing address optional, your conversion rate goes up 20%. Let's talk about conversion rates for a second. A conversion rate is the number of people that go to your donation page and finish. Industry average, between 12 and 17%. 20 at a push. Fundraise Up's average, 37% that start and finish. Now, a 20% lift on, let's say, 35% goes from 35 to a 40, right? 42, right? So you're looking at a nice lift there in your conversion rate by making the mailing address optional. Why does that work so well? You have two demographics that are growing: privacy conscious and eco-conscious. The eco-conscious want less paper mail. The privacy conscious don't want you to know where they live. Or they're a more transient, younger demographic that are moving more often, maybe college. Maybe I don't want to give you my address at my dorm because I'm not going to be there in a year, whatever it might be. So you can get a conversion rate lift and still collect about 60% of the mailing addresses. And if they don't provide the mailing address, we're still going to get that name of the city, state, and country right there in the analytics. If you're using UTMs, power users, we're going to automatically see that and scrape it and attach it. So if you send a newsletter out and somebody comes to your website reading there, but they give it a donation, we'll tell you that it came from the newsletter. You get all your questions here, custom fields, speaking to the power users there, syncing with Salesforce, HubSpot. We'll provide direct links to these. We don't have a real Salesforce instance, but you can get the idea there. What actually I want to show you here is we also are sending the email for you. We're sending the acknowledgement email, all the transactional. So we're going to attach a PDF receipt right to the email. And we're going to give them a button that says manage my donation in their email. If you're aware of the new MasterCard guidelines and rules, you now must be providing a way for donors to manage recurring subscriptions. You can visit our website and look at the banner at the top. We have a webinar, I believe, next week with MasterCard on the call, one of our partners, to address those concerns. So if you're looking to stay compliant with that and stay ahead of the curve, Fundraise Up is a solution for that. We are compliant with the MasterCard guidelines, providing the physical receipt as a PDF, donor control over their giving, and so on. Now, when I'm a donor and I click on that email that says manage my donation, what am I able to do? I can download my receipt. If I have a recurring gift, I can change the amount of my recurring gift. Let's go ahead and look at a recurring gift here. This is a Canadian account. So everybody that's in Canada, if there are some, we work for you too. Canada, the platform is in multiple languages. This is in French, so I'm gonna have to figure out my way around in this one. But you can see here that I can change my costs, my amount. If I do click on cancel, and I'm just trust me when I tell you what this says if you don't speak French. This is saying, do you want to change the amount instead of canceling your gift? And then if I say yes, it'll say, well, how about you skip a couple months or a month instead of canceling? We're able to retain over 80% of the people that intend to cancel. And by giving donors a button to cancel, what you're doing is giving them control and you're building trust. We have higher retention rates by giving them a cancel button than if you try to hide how to cancel your donation. Okay, that is true for the donor. It's also true in our business model. Like I said, we don't have contracts. We don't lock you into Fundraise Up. Leave tomorrow if you don't like it. But we are committed to proving to you every day that our results are going to be not just marginally, but significantly superior to what you're used to. Okay. So we always work to keep your business and keep our relationship with you. Campaigns, donation forms. I'm going to kind of fly through this just so I can focus on some other things. This is very straightforward. We choose our payment options. We choose the currency. Do we want it to default one time, monthly, tribute options, company matching? Do I want a mailing address? Do I need a mailing address, right? So you have all of those different features in there. And the beauty is, if you need to make a change to the donation form, just change it. Upload the image, change it, hit save changes, done. If you need to test it before it goes live, click that test button and go for it. Okay, so everything is right in the dashboard for you to control, just like the elements. We were talking about the elements earlier. So these are the elements, the goal meters, the recent donations, the donor map. These are all right there for you to be able to use, deploy, and control. This one says it's hidden for mobile, so you can see it on desktop. There's that. Now, if I wanted to change the black and the yellow, all I got to do, go into my appearance, change my black, and let's go ahead and make that red. And let's go ahead and see. Now it's red. Okay. So, and then I hit the update button, and now the website is updated. So you don't need to wait for the developer and the thing and the ticket and they're on vacation. We really want to change that image to be something different, change it on the fly, be more agile, be awesome. P2P, this will show you all the P2P campaigns. It's a test one, so everything's empty in here. Your recurring gifts, your supporters, where you can see their lifetime donated, their first and last donation, exports. If you're looking into data, again, for the power players here, if you have multiple data sources, or even just, you want to set up a data export every day that goes to the finance team that might have, let's say all the new or successful donations or refunded donations. Set that up. And then we're going to have an export schedule, send that daily right to an email address or the executive director of the organization or FTP. All right. I'm not going to deep dive too much into that. It's really powerful stuff, but it lets you do whatever you need. If you have somebody that runs P2P fundraisers, you want them to reach out to every P2P fundraiser that starts every day, create a new file that says, here's the details of the P2P fundraiser and send it to them. And you can customize all of the data, the format that it's exporting in, you want it in year, month, day, ISO, whatever it might be. I see some questions rolling in, so that means it's almost time for me to stop yapping. A couple things I'm going to show you quickly before I go. 2 questions are, installation, super easy. Grab that piece of script, add it to your website header, done. Update your links. Marketing pixels. Google Analytics out of the box, Facebook Pixel out of the box, including conversion API. Payment options, turn them on and off as you like, what's compatible with you, what you might like, what you don't. Like I said earlier, crypto giving is now available. No additional fee. There's no setup or onboarding fee for that, no contract. It's part of the package now, as of this morning. Localization, we're also, I'm looking for my power adapter for my laptop. Somebody took it out of the room, but hey, actually I found it. So give me a second while I walk to get it. We have the UI now in over 10 languages. I believe it's 12. We're adding another 5 before the end of the year. And this means that with one click in our dashboard, you can personalize the experience to any donor in their language. So if we detect someone has their computer browser in Spanish, we're going to go ahead and show them the donation process in Spanish, right? Why not? Make it more personable. And you're going to see a higher conversion, and you're proving to that donor that you see them, that you care, right? Right. Disaster averted. Computers plugged in. The observant ones saw my little icon change there. So those are all supported. You can also choose to have the emails that you send only in your default language, or if you want to create multiple language acknowledgement strings for those donations with a receipt, you can enable those as well, and then customize them. All of your emails that we send are transactional only, no marketing. Remember, we're not the marketing, we're not the CRM, we're the revenue center. So we'll send all those transactional emails right here. Once for a one-time gift, if it were refunded, everything that's boilerplate out of the box is good enough to get going, and then you can customize it over time. So things like that are already done for you. And then for localization, you're going to take your English version and then just keep translating what you need to. We provide some baseline translations that you can always then customize. I think that's pretty much all of it. I'm ready. If you have questions, start throwing them in there. We looked at the donor portal, looked at receipts, campaigns, designations. Yes, you can have as many team members in your account as you like. We have different user levels for different types of team members. We have a number of integrations: Zapier, Dollar Donation, Salesforce, HubSpot. Let's keep going. Bloomerang, Kindful, Neon, Donor Perfect, Every Action, Virtuous. These are all included, no monthly fee, ready to go. Plug it in, map it up, and off you go. All right. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in it there and allow for 15 minutes of conversation.
Q&A.